We've been in the doldrums with the weather for many days, and the sun, the glorious sun, has finally started to shine again, and it's returned this week, and the warmth with it. If we just let our relationships slide and do not give them intentional efforts and our attention, then like gloomy weather, our relationships also slide into the doldrums. Our closest relationship of marriage requires constant maintenance because love requires regular, ongoing emotional connections that answers the question, are you there for me? Do I matter to you? If you fail to answer this question when posed by your beloved with anything short of a strong affirmative, yes, I am here for you. You mean the world to me. Without that, the relationship will begin to show stress and strain. If your bid for connection is not received in a time and time again, then you move into a new and awful place that psychologists call the negative sentiment override. Think of it like cold, damp, gray days when the sun does not shine and hasn't shone for many days. When everything seems off and you're unhappy about everything. When you move into this bad weather, then nothing that your spouse says or does is good enough. You're critical of even their benign or good things that they do. They may make a comment about supper and you lose your mind at them. Well, that's the telltale sign that you have entered into the negative sentiment override land. It's that even the attempts of your spouse to understand your feelings do not bring out a lasting peace or restoration of the relationship. You are still resentful and waiting for the next episode of hurt to come your way. Nothing they do is good enough now. At this point, you have a running script of their shortcomings, their failures, the wounds you have received from them in the past, and the attempts that they make to try and appease you seem too small, too late for you. There's a hardness in your heart. And when the weather is this bad, then nothing they do is good or good enough. Now, this is a very serious condition that needs to be addressed because our relationships cannot live long in such harsh conditions. We need to be loved and to give love to our spouse, and unless we are brought out of this negative sentiment override, the relationship will eventually die. But the really good news is that not only is there a cure, but the cure is available to you right now. The relationship restoration is not complicated or costly, but that doesn't mean that it is not hard. It's hard because it requires forgiveness on your part and being vulnerable to the one you have judged to be unworthy and not trustworthy with your emotions. The road back to tenderness, compassion, romance, and joy is the same road that led you to love in the first place. The two of you noticed each other, spent time connecting. You talked, you did things together, and your hearts were open to each other. If you find yourself in a negative sentiment override time in your relationship right now, you know that you didn't get there overnight. So the road back will take some time and much prayer and grace and a willingness to try. You may need a coach to help you both stay in bounds and call the personal fouls when needed. You may need some training and practice, but that's part of the vows that you made before God, that in sickness and in health, for richer and for poorer, in all of the many forms of sickness and poorness. If you do find yourself, though, in need of some relationship help, I would like to draw your attention to the Gottman Institute. They offer online relationship coaching, many books and other resources that have a track record of helping couples deepen their love and their intimacy. I have a link down in the description box below just for you. But begin with prayer. Ask Jesus to settle your heart in His love first, and then ask the Holy Spirit to examine your heart, and ask what He would change so that you can offer love and grace and forgiveness. Don't demand overnight change, but do talk and share the good and the bad and the ugly that is in you. As you share this tough information, tell your beloved that you're sharing this because you want to be close again, because they matter to you. Check out the resources down below and know that Pastor Mike and I are here for you as well. Ascension also has trained Stephen ministers who can come alongside you in your challenges to help and pray and walk with you. Well, with all of this in mind, I hope to see you all this weekend in Bible study and in worship.